Welcome to the show. I'm the host, Scott Wise, and I'm thrilled to have paranormal researcher and author Heather Leigh joining us. Heather is author of Haunted Florida Roadside Attractions and has been investigating supernatural for decades, ever since her teenage years when she began experiencing interactions with her late grandfather. With a doctorate in philosophy and metaphysical humanistic science, specializing in paranormal science, Heather brings both academic rigor and real-world experience to her investigations. She holds certification as both Paranormal Investigator EVP Technician, and her mission is to help others approach paranormal research with a scientific methodology. Heather is an active member in the International Paranormal Bureau of Investigations and Research, as well as ParaNexus Anomalous Research Association. She's a founder of Exploration Paranormal and co-founder of Witches Paranormal Society. You must also know she's a co-host of the Touch of Magick podcast. Her expertise has been featured in documentaries including Real Haunts, Ghost Towns, Real Haunts 3 by Motion Picture Studio, and she appeared in season Ghost Adventures, Lake of Death. As both the author and lecturer, Heather continues to share her knowledge and passion for understanding paranormal world around us. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to see you again.
Right, you too. I was hoping to catch you at one of the paranormal conventions, but you're in the middle of moving, so I guess that's not helping me. So
yeah, no, I won't be doing anything like that this year. Maybe next year.
Next year I go over here, so I'll probably see you next year. And maybe we hang out a little bit, get lunch or something.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll be going to the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash.
Mm-hmm.
Come up in Gettysburg this year when I go on my family vacation. So, and I'm going to meet up with some people I have on my podcast. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's one place that I want to get back to. I miss Gettysburg.
Oh yeah, I lived in Pennsylvania all my life up until 9 years ago. I moved out to Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'll get my go-to because of Gettysburg a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, investigate.
Yeah.
So we're a Phil.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, you mentioned your paranormal journey. Being a teenager, you had an interaction with your deceased grandfather.
Yes.
Is that when you first started?
That's when I started noticing things more often. And then looking back, other things that happened when I was younger that kind of make me question it. But because I was younger, I don't remember it. But my first full memories of actual interaction was when I started seeing my grandfather at the age of 16. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so when it starts young, that's kind of. I don't know a lot of people are younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I saw when I was in the 7th grade, I think it was, and I woke up to a dark figure walking midnight. My sister would be. So I curved my head up and I would sleep. But, but other than that, I didn't have anything after that. So,
right.
I have somebody here with me, if you know. We get along all right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As long as she's taking care of you.
Oh, yeah. She showed herself already on the podcast, so it's got a chat room behind me.
Mm-hmm.
She's here. So, what is your family's reaction to that? Or like, cool.
Right. Well,
everybody know?
My mom kind of understood and kind of knew, so we really didn't talk too much about it. But back then, this was in the 80s. And the first thing they did, of course, which I understand now more that I'm researching the paranormal, is they sent me to a psychiatrist, of course, to make sure that everything was okay, which I get. But once we found everything was okay, then it was like, okay, well, then now what is it? And that kind of, I went into the library, stacks of books, because we didn't have the internet back then, and kind of started the research on my own. And that's how it, because I just couldn't figure out why it was happening.
Yeah. I thought people are more lazy today because they talk at libraries.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love the library thing. We don't get there often enough. I talk to her all the time. She likes it,
Mm-hmm.
What's back big thing, But
Yeah.
she got a big line now. It's kind of feel very gal
Right. Yep.
Yeah, back then I was like in the Indies. I was in high school. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's why I did I sort of said that's where I got all my books. And back then they had anything were shit back then that you could find. Yeah, a few books here and there on it, but now you go there, I was like hundreds of books I can find myself.
Right. Yeah. No, it was challenging to find because there weren't many out at the time,
Yeah, that
especially, yeah. Because, I mean, back then the view is, in order for someone to hunt somewhere, they had to die there, was the view back then, thanks to Poltergeist and the few other movies that came out at that time.
yeah,
And
that made it
that's,
more.
yep,
That really put that's one of my favorite movies.
yeah.
Yeah, but actually, I think kind of Ghostbusters and
Mm-hmm.
that came
Yep.
out,
Yeah.
and that Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's on my favorite. Yeah, that's fun. I'm now going through a card catalog and oh god,
Mm-hmm.
I painted about
Yeah.
the binary system.
Right. Yeah. Because, heaven forbid I should go to the librarian and be like, I want all your books on ghosts.
Oh yeah, God,
I had to search it for myself.
it's like how many limit is there? It's it's nice out here because they don't charge for late books. Um,
I don't know. It's been so long since I've checked a book out of the library.
yeah, they don't charge anymore. But
Oh.
I never see it around more 2 weeks. So
Mm-hmm.
right
Yeah.
there. So, yeah, I come to school the old days when you had that smell of the book when it opens up. So
Yep.
there's a library itself going there. So,
Yep.
tell me how you made the leap from personal experiences to want to study the paranormal scientifically.
I'm sorry.
I,
You broke up there a little bit.
okay, I got my teeth are cooking.
Oh, no. No, my screen glitched a little bit, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. How did you make the leap from personal experiences to want to study the paranormal scientifically?
It's interesting because for many years I always just researched it on the side on my own. But we were living in Vegas, and I don't know if I was bored or if I just got addicted to a TV show, but it was Hangar 51, which was all
Oh,
the
yeah,
alien shows and
yeah,
the secret documents.
yeah.
And something in my head, it was like, wouldn't it be cool if I could do this for a living? So I started, of course, that put me down another rabbit hole, and I started researching more. And that's when I found the Institute of Metaphysical and Humanistic Studies and reached out to Dr. Kelly. And it kind of took my paranormal experiences a little bit further, and it all snowballed. I mean, even though it was always there, it was probably about 10 years ago that everything just kind of snowballed and fell into place to what it is today. And that was more of my wanting to find answers for myself. But then I know I'm going to probably get a lot of hate mail for this, but I also saw how the paranormal community was kind of straying away from authentic scientific research.
Mm,
And that's my goal, is to make it a true science. So I kind of wanted to
right,
go all in and go from there and try to help others to do it more critical, thinking, instead of just jumping in and getting scared.
right, right. That's why I see it too. Um, and I think people have to be more minded when they go out there too, because a lot of people go out there and say, "Oh, we'll get something," but they don't realize that you always get something when you go out.
Right.
And they want to put time into it. And then it's nice you went and did that, I mean, for a different side of it. Um, yeah, I mean, that's something to look into.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
I definitely believe there's more to this than what we're already doing. And
Right,
obviously, some of the stuff that we are doing already either works or it doesn't work. And I feel it's time that we move on for some deeper research.
right. Do you offer courses or anything, or?
Not yet. I am in the process of I have a whole bunch of courses to put together,
Mhm.
but I just haven't, I guess you would say, stepped over that ledge yet.
Or you may write a book about it?
I have several. Yeah. I mean, there's more books getting ready to publish sooner than later. It's
Oh,
just a matter of
awesome.
finishing the
Well,
touches, but yeah.
I'm sure I have you back on a third time.
You can have me back on the show anytime you need me.
Yeah, I would love to. Okay, yeah. Well, that's cool. So, going to your Florida book, what inspired you to focus specifically on Florida's haunt roadside attraction?
Because whenever we travel throughout the state of Florida, there's a ton of, I mean, Florida was the place you went in the summer. So, of course, we have a lot of roadside attractions here. And just driving, the type of person I am, I drive by something and it's like, oh, is it haunted? Or what's the story behind that? And the more I started deep diving into some of there are actually some really interesting stories behind all of these different haunts. I mean, one of my favorites in that book is the saloon in Yeehaw Junction that's on the
Mhm.
cover of that's on the cover of my Ghost Towns book, but it's also included in the Roadside Attractions book. And that kind of
Mhm.
segued from one book to another to write this one because it was so much fun to think of all these places that we just stop while we're driving somewhere just to check it out and learn the history. Makes it a real interesting story to tell.
Yeah, I was how many set in there? I think it maybe 40 or 50 here.
Which one?
Probably at least 40 in this book.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here it's booked.
And
Up at the corner is what barcode you can buy our book. That's actually the UBC code. Sorry.
yep. Yep. Yeah. What's interesting about that book, and I always laugh because the photo, I drive by that location every day. And it's a cool place to drive by.
Yeah,
However, that photo I took and I put it
that's
in the introduction as like, this is what an example of a Florida roadside attraction is. And they put that on the cover, but that place isn't haunted that we know of. So it's not even in the book outside of the first, the first chapter of here's what a roadside attraction is.
I like it though.
I know it made for a really cool cover though.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'd say that's one of my favorite covers, but it's always funny thinking about they put a cover of a non-haunted location.
I'm not pleased to be haunted, right?
Right. I mean, it looks like it could be haunted, but I found nothing when I did my research on it. So, but it's a really cool place.
How long would it take you to do all this, to put this together?
That one, I would say, took me about 6 months to do.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because when I started my other books that I have, I keep notes for all the different locations, and then if I need to, I kind of recycle that into other books. So like with that one, of course there's like 3 or 4 that are in the Ghost Town book. So they kind of segued, but I retold the story in a different way. And then also the other book I sent you, the pirate book, there's a lot of pirate because Florida's known for it. So there's a lot of roadside attractions that are around the pirate theme too.
Maybe.
So once I have the research done, it's not very hard to add it to another book.
Yeah. We're on my book for a yarn. I'll get back to it. We'll see.
Yeah.
Alrighty. To share one of your here. What's that? Okay. I got a question here. Florida has such a unique history with everything from Spanish to colonization to modern tourism. Had this backdrop influenced the types of hauntings you've encountered?
Different types of hauntings that I've encountered.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I know it's been a while, but in Jupiter, the Jupiter Inlet, there I experienced. I personally want to say it's a residual, but some people think it's an intelligent one that likes to upset people. But walking through the gift shop, and this was 20 plus years ago because my youngest wasn't even born yet, you all of a sudden would hear like a bell go off, almost like someone's, hitting the counter bell at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no bell anywhere to be found. You would just hear this pa-ching, cha-ching, and I actually heard it because I knew stories of it, and it was interesting. And I asked the clerk, and she's like, "Oh, we hear that all the time." But and other people that I've talked to that have investigated it think it's intelligent, but I think it's just a residual from the area. I'm trying to think of. I know I didn't encounter it, but story that I find really interesting is at John's Pass. There's people see two Civil War soldiers. There's two different stories. One, they're crossing the bridge, and the other one, they're rowing in a boat out at the moonlight. So, and that one, we've been to John's Pass quite a bit, and I've always looked out into the area where they're supposed to be at, and I wish I really could have seen them, because that's one thing that I would have liked to have gotten proof of. And yeah, because it's weird, because ever since we got to Florida, we haven't had a chance to investigate too much. So I'm just going off of the experiences that we've had while we're out and about. Trying to think. Another one that would have been the closest, but I'm still not sure, is we were actually doing a photo shoot at a local cemetery here in town. Mm-hmm. And I pulled out the dowsing rods just for a good photo shoot. And I jokingly said, "If you're here, move them." And all of a sudden they started moving. But there was so much going on. I don't know if I unintentionally started making them move, or if, so that was one of those where it was like, I got a big grin because they started moving, but then looking back, so that's, and it's really weird because, like I said, we really haven't done much here in Florida since we've moved back. And now you're making me wish we weren't moving quite soon.
Well, your next book could be Haunted Texas Tourist Attractions.
Exactly. Yep. I'm actually going to I want to take my my roadside attraction idea, because I know Texas has a whole bunch there too. I think that would be a fun one to write.
Well, yeah. Yeah. There you go. Love the Star State. Yeah, but it's always fun one. I'll get that one too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what? That's cool. How do you separate tourist trap ghost stories from genuine paranormal activity?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because I am a firm believer that if you tell a story over and over, that the legend or the belief, can create an egregore and make it come true. Mm-hmm. So, here we are on these tours of historical sites, going over the history over and over. If one fact gets skewed but told over and over, who's to say that we're not conjuring or not, creating that ourselves? That's a tough one, because the one thing that's interesting, though, is when I do talk to a lot of people who have worked at these locations, or when I researched information for the locations, a lot of the hauntings are very similar. So, and that's what I look at for consistency, because then that means the same type of experience is happening, whether it's, a tourist attraction or an actual type of haunting. But then on the flip side, the other thing you want to look for is different stories from the same location, because that means that one-off story could be the authentic experience versus all these stories that people are telling just because they've heard it.
All right.
So it's kind of, and it is hard to determine, because the ghosts don't tell us, oh, I'm here because of X, Y, and Z, or, so it's just a matter of us having to speculate on that. And that's a tough one, because I don't really know if there would be too much of a difference.
All right.
Yeah.
So when to go to these places, everything but an ask question and stuff. Did you ever tell you have to go to somebody's house or something to help talk to them? Did you ever do that?
Oh, we have done that in the past, but we've stopped doing that, mostly because we want to experiment. And it's really hard to go to someone's home that you're here to help them, but be like, "Hey, we've never tried this before, but we want to try it out at your house." I'm not gonna make them go through our growing pains. So we, I'll help them. Like I had one lady, I helped her over the phone a little bit and via email, and then I referred her to a group that I know that does that, because we just, our team is just 3 people, and we're not big enough to do something like that.
Right. So you want to explain how you would take a scientific approach to investigating?
It's more or less, it's, you got to keep things organized, first of all, because I mean, and I'm guilty of it, because my son was trying to find an EVP the other day, and I'm like, it's one of these 30 files. I don't know where it's at. So I'm just as guilty. But you need to write down and determine, first of all, what your purpose is. When you go to do the investigation, what question do you want answered? And it could be as simple as, does my EMF detector go off when it's a full moon? And you just kind of got to start with the basics before you can, because I always tell people that you can do all these experiments left and right, but if you don't know how your K2 meter works, or what affects it, or how even the Eddy Plus works, it doesn't matter. Why are you bringing it with if you don't know how it works, or what the purpose is behind it? So you have to ask that question and then determine different ways to get the answers to that question. It's not always just one experiment. And with the paranormal, I mean, of course, we can't repeat the experiences, but we can repeat similar, I guess, investigation techniques. And at which point we can determine what works and what doesn't. And it's documentation. That's the biggest problem. A lot of paranormal teams I see out there. You need to not only just document what happened, document the equipment. You need to have more than just, one digital voice recorder. You want to have, multiple means of capturing it. And it's basically, you want more than just your average data too. People don't think about it. Okay, we're going there. We need to know what the temperature is outside. We need to know what the phase of the moon is. We need to know if there's any geological occurrences. I mean, there's more research than just going into a home and asking questions and getting good audio evidence or lights on a machine blinking. And you need to document it every time. And I tell people, even if it's just a K2 meter, document it, that you're using it, what questions you're asking, how you're using it, and then all of that stuff. And then when you go to do another investigation, do the same thing, follow the same steps, and then compare. It's all about growth and comparing.
All right, and I think it could be a 2 meter friend or $30 now. So, so sure, I've used it though, like you said. So a lot of people in the places like the wall, it's a ghost. Yeah, so
yeah.
A lot of people don't understand how. I'm sure a lot of videos online, so they'll do it too, but. Anything else to get? Now, I have 4 recorders, so I have run. But I put them on different locations and stuff. And then I'll have one on me, and then one different locations, or other people borrow mine until they get theirs. But yeah, I've got 4 over now from this past weekend. But, and I've gone there, people like, well, how about your certification for EVP? Well, just talking about that, people in there asking questions over and over and over again. What's her name? What's who the president? Who it's the same simple stuff. But what I did, like for the fire museums this past weekend when we investigated. Everything. I actually typed in chat GPT. I said, investigating a fire museum this weekend. For, what kind of EV questions can I ask? Give me 30 questions I can ask. That worked out pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to rank, ask if if they died in a fire, and I had like a bunch of questions to ask, and yeah. So people just a lot of people don't want to do research before they go, but I think like one person group should. Just know when they go in there what to expect.
Right. Yep. Yeah. And I'm all for I call them paranormal tourists. I'm all for the ones that want to go on these tours, that want to investigate, that are in this to be scared. But I truly don't think that they should be the ones helping clients.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, just like any other field, and I get a lot of slack for this too from a lot of people, is that the paranormal field, as far as those helping people and going into people's homes, there needs to be some type of regulation behind that. Because I hear from people all the time. I invited this ghost group to my home, and they did their investigation, left, and I never heard from them again. And then next thing she knows, she's seeing her home up on YouTube.
Yeah.
from, and other people who one person in Vegas that we were helping, they said the pastor came to their house and charged her a couple $1,000s to bless the home.
Yeah.
And, so I truly do think that if people are going into a home for paranormal research, it should be no different. We should have some type of license or, a mandated insurance, because you don't know what could go wrong.
We got papers and stuff all the time.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other countries. I know in Ireland and some European countries, you actually have to have a license if you're going to call yourself a paranormal researcher.
Right. LSC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you know Cindy?
Do I know Cindy?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. What are you doing? Marathon. That's funny questions that just asked. Sorry, Mr. Chat there a couple of minutes back for requesting conversation. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, I've got people would be more serious about it. And like you said about when I had a group back in Hudson, we did a lot of residential cases. And we got one that called us, and they said they grouped me like 6 months ago, and he never came back or gave any answers or anything. And I'm like, well, we'll come check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But we say 2 or 3 weeks usually to get back to you with our stuff done, to explain for we have anything, and then we'll find out if this is the way, we'll go back to location or just do it like Zoom or something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But like that, we don't. We never do that before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just freaking rude. Yeah, it's not right. Here's a question for you. Hey, Heather, are there any haunted attractions in Citrus County?
Oh, I'm doing a quick search of that area just so that way I can make sure I have the right county when I think about the stories. Yeah, actually, there's a lot, but not many that I included in my book, because looking what they have here. Yeah, and I haven't been to any of these either, just doing a quick search for it. Yeah. I'm just seeing if there's any here that I've included in my in any of my books, but I don't see anything. But yeah, there's a ton of places, and I've heard about a couple of these. Actually, I think I included Fort Cooper State Park, but that's in my upcoming book, and I know that's haunted by a lot of Civil War soldiers. I know that one. Stage Pond has an old general store and churches, and I think I included that. I'm trying to remember what happened there. There was a lot of fire and deaths at that one. So Stage Pond is it's considered a ghost town now, if I want to remember correctly. And that has a lot of interesting things there. And then I've heard about this one. It's Tiger Trail. This one you might be interested in. And I've heard several stories from other people. They said that it's haunted by 3 children, and that's in Dunellen. But then also the Archaeological State Park out that way is known to be haunted as well. Is that in Inverness? I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as the quick list of what's haunted over there, just to see, it's none that I've fully researched outside of a short blip in one of my stories.
Is that in Inverness?
I think that one is. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, doing a quick. Yeah, and those aren't in Citrus County. All the other ones are just outside of Citrus County. But yeah, unfortunately, that's one area that I didn't get to research too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Fort Cooper, I think, is the one. Let me.
Okay. Fort Cooper. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's the one over on what road? 41 and Old Floral City Road. Yep, in Inverness. So Floral City Road is what it's on. But I've heard a lot of stories coming from there, including several Civil War soldier encounters for that area.
Cool. Let's ask a question there. Oh, look. Where's the one? Oh, about Robert Daw. However,
Robert Cassell?
people still think it's in what's his name, museum.
Mm-hmm.
Which museum? I forget.
He's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think what's the museum he's in now? I mean, it's not with what's their name from the trail?
Oh no, he's in Fort Martello East Museum.
Yeah,
It's down in Florida. David Sloan is his caretaker.
Yeah, but I think he was at except for a show. He's with I keep forgetting his name from what's that orange show?
Ghost Adventures.
Oh yeah,
Which one?
Zachman or his name is.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah, Zach.
Yeah.
It's not with him. It's not. It's with. A lot of people think it is, but not.
Yeah, I even wrote a chapter or a paragraph in the chapter for him. He is not.
He's out there. Well, I saw one about the biggest wing place.
Oh, the biggest wing? Buffalo wing?
Did you go there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been there. Yeah.
What was that like?
The thing is huge, but it's really cool. But
how big is it?
How big is that wing? The buffalo wing at Madeira Beach?
It's gotta be 3 or 4 feet long.
Holy hell!
Yeah. Yeah, so 3 to 4 feet long, and they have it hanging because I think I have the photo of it in the book. But
probably dinosaur leg.
But yeah, no, it's sitting there right there on the bay, right at the Hooters restaurant, overlooking the water.
Oh my! Oh my! Yeah. Another thing was of that big elephant that actually got shipped in. That big elephant.
Oh, I think yeah. Because I know there's one, and I think the one that I included in the book and the one chapter that's from Pennsylvania, but that's an example of what I was trying to aim for the book.
Yeah, so that actually was after World War II, I guess. So with the return home from war. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I should have been more prepared here of some of the more fun ones I saw in your book.
No, you're fine.
There's so much stuff in here. Oh yeah, the Titanic experience or Orlando.
Which one?
The Titanic experience or Orlando.
Yeah. Yep, it's on iDrive.
Yeah. That's interesting. One of the churches that I went to in Pennsylvania was built back in 1818. They have a tombstone or it was like a big family plaque for the family of survivors that was on the Titanic. 2 of the kids died out on it, and one of the kids had the same birthday I did. August 20th.
Oh.
Isn't that weird? It was weird.
Mm-hmm. Poor thing to have to remember that day.
Yeah, I know. And let's see here. Oh, what about Brandy the dog? I
Oh,
thought he was this thing.
isn't he? That's such a cute story, isn't that?
Yeah, that is.
I mean, he was the town's dog.
They even made him mayor, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. And he would get his own mail. He people loved him. And yeah, I haven't been to where he hunts, but I've heard stories about that. And people say they see him running around with the monkey.
oh, that's funny, yeah. What's the monkey's name? I forget.
Oh, what was his name again? Oh my goodness. It's like been so long.
I'll check real quick. Kind of here. It was a funny name. Oh, sorry, I beat this to it. Oh, I can't pace fast enough.
Now I'm gonna be thinking about this all day. What was his name?
Mm. Go on.
Oh, I can't think of his name, and it was a human name too, because he was also voted something as well. Of course, I don't have the book down here. Brother.
That's mine. Dude, I followed here. I think I'm taking a tour of Salvador too.
I swore I included him in here, but I'm not seeing it in the.
Huh. I could have sworn in there. Oh,
Yeah. I'm sure oh, Johnny Brown was the name of the monkey.
okay. All right. Okay, Johnny Brown.
Yep, Johnny Brown, and then Brownie, the post office dog.
Yeah, post office dog. That's right. That's hilarious.
I gotta reread through that again. It's been a while since I've looked at that one.
Yeah. What was the one there on top? That was pretty good. Matt Barker's house.
Yep.
That was a good one too. I was reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's one thing you don't think about living out here is that we'd have these, mini mob bosses just hiding out.
Yeah. Yep. And they remind much about the Witch's Wall.
That one was interesting because that's at almost like a blind turn when you're going through the little bit of hilly portions that we have here in Florida. And they had built it with all stone when they built it out. And there's this little grate that people swear that they'll see a light glowing in there. And they say that it's the witch that's hiding there. And then she's there to, kidnap the children. And that's where she takes them. And it's interesting. And that's one of those that I couldn't tell if it was an old wives' tale that telling the kids don't go near there because they didn't want them to get hurt, or if it was true. So that was a fun one to research.
Yeah, well, that one was I'm gonna give away a story, but they did debunk it, I think.
Yeah. I saw that shortly after.
Yeah.
But and I think
it's a fun story. Like around here, we have that what famous tunnel out here too.
Yep.
You want to tunnel I go to. So that's an interesting story too.
Yeah. And that's the tough thing. We were talking about that earlier with the stories. We don't know if this is a true ghost story or if it's, legend that's just been passed down to keep kids in line, keep them afraid of going somewhere.
Well, I thought an interesting one was Dr. Mudd.
Yes, that one. He appears in a lot of my books.
Yeah.
Holy cow, who'd have thought when I lived in Florida, I didn't, until I started researching, had no idea that he was sent to Fort Jefferson. And Fort Jefferson is one of the places on my bucket list to get to. That place is amazing from what I've read and from what I've researched. And he was serving his sentence there until he immediately jumped into action during the yellow fever outbreak. And helped and worked as a doctor, helped curing people. And then they finally secured his release because he did help. But now people say that he's one of the spirits that is believed to be haunting the jail cells of the fort.
All right.
So, but yeah, because got to admit that was probably a traumatic time for him. And he probably left his imprint because that wasn't the best time of the war either.
How about the six-toed cat?
Yes, Hemingway's cats. Oh my goodness. They all, it's some type of, I don't know, abnormality, but all the cats, and when they keep having kittens, some of them have 6 toes and they viewed it as good luck, and they actually still let the cats live and do what they want to do on the property. So yeah, there are several photos I found while researching of the cats just lounging by the pool. And if I remember correctly, I think he left money in his will to help take care of his cats when he passed.
Yeah, that's very good. There's one. I like get railway museums. You got the Gold Coast one here?
The which one? Gold
Coast.
Gold Coast.
The railway museum.
Yes.
Yeah, I like the museum railroads. I get a chance to do any of them, but I heard they're spring me on it.
Yes. Yeah. I know actually a museum that my son and I recently went to was, what was it? McClarty Treasure Museum out in Vero Beach. And even just walking through there, even my son leaned over to me and he's like, something's here. And we were the only ones in the entire museum because it was one of those little small ones. But yeah, I don't think there's been a museum that I've been in that I don't notice or pick up on something happening.
Right. We got that set there so far.
Yeah.
It can't be crazy sometimes going in. It's like, leave me alone.
I know it was months ago, but my mom and I went to an antique mall and I caught up with her and I told her, I'm like, I'm going to be out in the car because there was this little, I didn't see it, but I felt it, just this little person following me around. And I was just like, every time and I even was envisioning in my head what he looked like. And I'm like, I got to go to the car and get out of here. It's like, they're not leaving me alone.
Right. I mean, there in the fire museums, a lot of artifacts in there from over decades. So you probably feel they in there.
Yep. I'm sure there's quite a few there.
Yeah. I see at a trading post in here, Smallwood. I was in Chickalasky. I think that's right. Chickalasky.
Let me.
There's a trading post. That's still going on
Okay.
today.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's still going on today.
Yeah, let me. I'm trying to refresh my memory.
The Smallwood.
Oh yeah, the Smallwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That town had a lot of devastation. A lot of hurricane damage has gone through there, including the original trading post was destroyed during that, and people see things falling off the shelf, flying around. And I think that one had a lot of no, that was the saloon. I'm just trying to think of, because there was one that had a known prostitute upstairs, but I think that was the saloon in Yeehaw Junction. And the Smallwood, I think that one's mostly like things moving around and shadow figures, and that's the one butted up against to in the forest. So they also see the shadow figures in the forest and the tree line in the back. So.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
But that's the exciting one in the book. I thought I like that one. Another one's there was Fort. You got the Fort ParaNexus.
Oh yes.
That's cool. That was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, and the old tunnels in Pensacola.
Yeah.
So, and that one too, that I know other stuff has come up in the same area where I don't remember which book I read it in, but there was another book recently that I read that there's two lovers that have actually been seen. And there's a legend that also with those tunnels that they were banned from seeing each other, almost Romeo and Juliet style. Mm-hmm. And they went to those tunnels to hide. And then now they see two people walking hand in hand through the area. I haven't gotten any confirmation on that, but I have heard that one, and that I read that story in another book. So
okay.
So a lot's happening at those tunnels.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Cool. Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff from here. Peter, I thought you can get this stuff. They get to eat or drink at the Last Resort bar in Port Orange.
Yes.
They're good food and beer.
I've never eaten there, but I heard it's the best.
Yeah.
But that one is also the location where Eileen Wuornos hid out.
Okay.
And that's where she was arrested.
Really?
And,
that's right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's right.
Yeah. And they say a lot of people believe that she's haunting the location because her bra is actually on display. Because it's one of those bars, you take your bra off, they nail it to the wall. And hers is one of the bras hanging there. And it was also where she was arrested. So a lot of people claim they've seen her hanging out in the bar.
Hanging out in the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm bad. Sorry.
No, it was fitting though. No.
Yeah. Or they get to eat the devastating bar?
The what?
Devastating bar restaurant? They eat it there?
Yeah, it's a full bar. Yeah. That would be the type of place that sounds like. And from the photos I've seen, the sawdust on the floor.
Yeah, it's Peter shelves on the floor. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have a restaurant back in Pennsylvania where the big bucket of peanuts, they put two shelves on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
You walk around, crunch.
Yep.
You hold the peanut shell stuck in the bottom of your shoe. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. That's good food.
Mm-hmm.
But the oldest wooden schoolhouse in St. Augustine.
Yep. Yes, that one has some interesting stories with it, including one of the school teacher that used to teach there. He was very mean, from what I understand. He would lock kids in the closet underneath the stairwell. So there's a lot of reports of hearing crying from underneath the stairwell. The upstairs you can no longer get to because the stairs are not sturdy, so they block people from getting upstairs. But people say at night they can see someone standing in the window looking out, which is believed to be the wife of the school teacher because he was also not very loyal. So he would go out to the bars at night and get drunk and come home. And when people would go into the house, they would see there's no access to get upstairs and there's nobody in the home. And then in addition to like the kids crying in the or underneath the stairwell, people have also seen kids running in and out of the door, like almost little shadow figures at night.
Wow. I'll think to see that.
Right. But with that one, when I read those stories, I really hope someone steps in and takes over control of that house and kind of restores it because I've heard it's falling apart.
Oh. That's sad.
Yeah.
I saw plenty of shadow figures this weekend. If you start back and forth. Yeah, I'm looking. I was there for the funny holiday that I see you there, and
Mhm.
I got the PR that said yes. So, or I was sitting there and I got this burning scratchy feeling all over. I'm like, I didn't look
Mhm.
at it at all. I'm like, did you do that to me? And then I got, no, I didn't after it in my EP. So, yeah, you didn't, but somebody did.
Right. Yeah.
I,
Someone did, but it wasn't me.
I sort of knocked it off and it went away in about 15 minutes. So,
Yep.
but,
Yeah. Spirits
yeah,
are really honest. We had one session where we were
I
asking.
really don't play that.
Yeah, I know. We were asking. It was a residential that we did years before we stopped, and I was with a different team. And there was the devil card was missing from the daughter's tarot deck. So one of the questions we asked was, "Did you take the devil's card out of the tarot deck?" And we had the female voice going, "Yes," and then the male voice, "No." So he was like correcting her, like, "No, you didn't."
Yeah,
It's, yeah, they're like children. They're very honest.
yeah, I got mine this weekend. A sad story. The guy who used to do it for last 5 years we're going there. Maybe 6. Did you ever go in there? His name is Bobby Shook. And
Okay.
he used to be along these ducks in the stores and he'd hang out with us himself and he was awesome. Mr. He passed away. That's just past April last. He passed
Mhm.
away. And they had this golden plaque for him. So I'm sitting there in the dark. Everybody walks away. I was good, that's what separate butter off of my own. Actually, they left me. So I'm sitting on my walker and I'm talking to him and asked me he's there. And later on, I got a shot. So I played there. So he's there. Yeah, they didn't know me there. So
Yeah.
I
Oh
heard
yeah.
everyone these 3 times today. I was going over it. So yeah, I get that a lot. Mine didn't get called a lot.
Hmm.
So yeah, some places love me. Oh, I love doing cemeteries.
Hmm.
You have one here at the Greenwood. We have a Greenwood here too.
Hmm.
Yours is Orlando.
Yeah, we actually went to that one, and that one is a lot of fun. I mean, and they have this whole walking tour, and when you go to this one, you step back into like pre-Florida, being part of the United States. It's also one of the oldest ones. So, and you can just when it walks you through like each section, you can see how it grew throughout the area, and it was really cool walking through there. A lot of history at that one.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love cemeteries. We had a map back in Pennsylvania up in Appalachians.
Hmm.
It
Yep.
was, it was called Pioneer Cemetery. And
Okay.
it's pitch is black where no sun out. And it was like a little more like a, yeah, it's a cemetery, be like a graveyard too. Well, actually, a cemetery is when it's a church, right? A graveyard when it's not a church. I think that's how it is. But yeah,
Yeah, it's one of them.
yeah, one of them. Anyways, it was only like maybe like um 200 feet by 200 feet square that
Okay.
big. But all the tombstones are back in the 1800s.
Hmm.
So not a
Yeah.
good place to go. And you had it was so worn down that I still people not take care of it anymore for us. The summer toppled over or something. But if you can't see real good, and if it's at night or when it's getting dark, if you take a flashlight, go down this way across it should be able to read it.
Hmm.
It's a neat little trick to do. So if you want to try that, yes, that's something else we Is there? Oh, about Devil's Millhopper Geological State Park. That's an interesting one. Devil's
Yeah, that's one. I mean, the stories that I've read with that one, it's like it's a sinkhole essentially. That legend around it is that it connects, this world to the underworld, and that a lot of people claim to see some mysterious type creatures, not really, I guess you would say unexplainable. They really didn't know how to describe what they looked like, just some strange things coming out of the hole at night. And I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I just, being part of the paranormal world, I don't know if I would go hang out around something named that in the middle of the night to see what comes out of it, but I guess, and a lot of people have also heard like almost like the hole is alive. Like they'll hear it, they say if you sit long enough, it sounds like it's breathing, or they've heard growling noises coming from it.
Huh?
And a lot of creepy legends are.
Man. One guy wanted about the UFO Mecca at Shoreline Park.
Yeah, the UFOs. There was a big story over someone was claiming that they had a UFO in their attic, and they went through this elaborate thing, and holy crap, it's and this is again goes back to the stories come true after someone started claiming they had a UFO in there. But ever since this UFO landed, now people go to the beach and they can look up in the sky and see all these UFOs they claim hovering. But it turns out over time that UFO in his house was a hoax. But now everybody flocks to that beach to look at the sky just to see if they could get a chance of seeing one.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Do you what we do? I don't know. I think like for Dame's Point Bridge in Jacksonville.
That one was another lover story.
Yeah, tell me that one.
Yeah, that was just two lovers, again being kept away from each other, and they made it happen in the afterlife. So stories like that make me happy that there's hope in the afterlife.
Yeah, hopefully they're hooking myself. No, I hope I know one. Well, that be no thing existence. That's right. Well, if you want, I mean, it's coming up on an hour. I mean, we can you can do more, or we can wrap it up. Or we can already know where to get your book.
Yeah, it's up to you. If you want to keep going, we can, or if you're
I'm game. I'll get a few more.
okay.
I didn't know if you're right or anything.
Oh no, nope.
Well, we got Ripley's Believe It or Not. We can do that one yet.
Which one? Oh, Ripley's Believe It or Not. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one has a lot of fun stories with that, especially with, I know for, I think I have the photos in there of the shrunken heads that they got from Africa.
Yeah.
There's a lot of eerie things in that area. People hear laughing, people get touched. There's little tunnel ways that you walk through. Yep.
There's something head.
Yeah. That's just, I've never been there, but that's just creepy.
Ooh.
I've seen them in other places, similar ones, but
Yeah.
it's a lot happens around there. But then they also have doors opening and closing. Was it there? I think it's the Flagler Museum. I was going to say the typewriter, but that's at the Flagler Museum.
Mm.
But yeah, it's and the other thing too with that, the building that Ripley's Believe It or Not is in used to be a hotel that had a fire, and 2 women are believed to have perished in that fire.
Oh.
And people see 2 elderly women walking the grounds and then slowly disappearing when they go to talk to them. So they're probably angry that they turned the hotel into a museum.
Yeah. We have gravity bridge around here somewhere, or a road around here somewhere, gravity road. But you have
Okay.
one, you have a Spook Hill,
Yep. Spook Hill.
yeah, and Lake Wales. Yep.
Yeah. I've been there a couple times, and it's when you look at it, even the photos I took of it don't make it look like it's that uphill.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's really, but our Lake Wales really grabbed onto that, and I mean, they even named their school Spook Hill Elementary in Casper. They got actual permission from the creator of Casper to use Casper as their mascot. But so many stories have developed out of Spook Hill. One is the alligator is pushing the car out of the way because it doesn't want to get hurt, or another one is that it's your car, when you stop at the bottom, you're on the grave of a Native American chief. So either he or his followers pushed the car away. But yeah, I mean, there was a 3-page pamphlet that I don't think was included in the final copy of the book, but I had it originally, but it didn't print well, so they removed it. But the local restaurant had like a 3-page brochure that talked about the legend and the story behind it, and it's interesting.
Because sneak peek already.
Yep.
There's the car zone going.
Yep. Yeah, and that hill, it just doesn't look much like a hill.
Nah, I really think.
But it's weird. We put the car there at the bottom, and it didn't move much, but it moved just a little. But
yeah, yeah. I didn't get to go to one, but look, there's this one sign here. Looks like one of the brother ghosts of Casper.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. Look at brother ghost of Casper.
Yep.
That's hilarious. Oh, you got a skunk ape too there?
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Our skunk apes really smell.
Yeah, it's one. And you already talked about Robert the Oh, I got the Spirit Camp.
Yes, Casadega.
Caldea. Yeah, I mean it's like one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
that's not that tiny building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a small, empty town. I've been there a couple times, and I wish I could spend more time there. Every time I've gone, it's only been for about an hour or so. But the hotel is gorgeous. They've done a really good job keeping up the hotel and the cemetery out the back. I mean, they refer to it as the Devil's Chair, but it's just basically a chair that someone put so they could talk to their loved ones. So it was like a bench that they created there, but it's this legend behind it now is it's the Devil's Chair. But when you sit in it, it has a beautiful view of the lake behind it. So I mean, it's like the perfect place to go and relax. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean,
maybe that's I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, the hotel there has your typical hotel haunts, former bellboys, the maids that come into the rooms and people hear, shuffling around. And but most of the haunted stuff is usually in that cemetery right off the back. A lot of people say they see lights over the lake, and but if you have chance, if you're driving through the area, I always tell people to stop because it's worth it. The books, if you like paranormal type bookstores, holy cow, these bookstores are amazing at this place.
Oh yeah, looks out of play. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you got some good photos in here too. Next one is Fountain of Youth. Everybody wants that. And that's
Yes.
archaeological park in St. Augustine.
Yep. And you know what? He was only 500 yards away from finding it. When he was out looking for it, he was, holy cow. They say where the Fountain of Youth was actually found, Drake and all of those guys that were trying to find it were all within 500 yards and it's like, oh my God, could you imagine being that close but not finding what your whole life mission was? Holy crap.
Yeah.
But with that little thing, it's nothing more than, it looks like a little faucet. It's really tiny than what it really is. But yeah, people, strange, again, almost like skinwalker type creatures, where they've seen people that they think are animals, but then start walking away. And a lot of people are afraid to go to that area just because they're afraid of what they're going to encounter. So, I mean, a few people I've talked to, they say that they think that the spring is actually almost one of those, like a gateway between dimensions for these different creatures. But
they have like this entrance here.
yep. Yeah. So, I mean, they built it up all around it to make it this big tourist attraction, but the actual fountain itself is really tiny.
Yeah, is that a big, let's see, is that a big bush there or is that trees and stuff, for instance?
Yeah, that they have a big bush inside of it because they've kind of like, there's really not much water in it
All right.
anymore.
Hey, what's this? Is that alligators in there?
In which one?
It's, that bottom picture there.
Oh yeah. Oh no, those aren't alligators. Those are the tombs. There was a tomb there.
Oh,
Let me.
okay.
What was it?
I have it here.
Yeah, it was a Native American burial site. So
Yeah.
where was it? I wish I could. Maybe it was just the name. Yeah, because it's at the Fountain of Youth.
They're very using Christian methods and rituals.
Yep, the Timucua. That's what it was. It was.
Okay.
Yep, tens of thousands of years ago, it was believed to have been put there.
Yeah.
And yeah, they founded it. Yeah, 1834. So yeah, so that is also on site at the archaeological park that the Fountain of Youth is at.
Oh, it could be it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole area is haunted.
Oh.
Yeah, and of course, you know, with Native American stories, there's that fear of the ruins being, I guess, uncovered, that unleashed certain demons or, you know, bad mojo, bad juju to the air because people, you know, they accidentally founded it while excavating the area, but who knows what they, you know, how much of it they accidentally lost because they weren't paying attention.
It worked.
Yeah.
I think all the rainy weather too, getting that stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
The problem with their terror. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that was strong. You got a not good so I love this book. Yeah, me and my wife love lighthouse and we collect them. So we got to aggressive do a few when we were in Florida. And I don't think we did this one. Maybe we did. We did a few down there.
Yeah, because I know that different lighthouses we would have. Key West.
I think we did Key West. Yeah. And that's right. No one I actually have this picture of that I framed. I wonder where the cost to. But yeah. Then we had all black houses. They're so high too. Oh. Yeah, that's a so that's pretty on it.
Which one?
But it's the pump. Pump in that lighthouse in museum.
I'm trying to look at it real quick.
And it was constructed in 1887.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of our lighthouses are haunted, and I'm just trying to remember because I did the one book on all of the different ones haunted, so they all kind of blend together.
oh, yeah. Well, I think about that, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's like all of them are blending it together, but I do know I'm trying to remember exactly which ones I included in this one, and I'm trying to shoreline.
Since I'm going to help you down here. So about is
Yep.
changed the policy on in that 1927.
Yep. So I mean, that one has been. Geez, for that one, I know. I'm trying to remember exactly that one. Yes, now I remember. Okay, so that one is known in the base area. There's a lot of Native Americans that people have still believed to see running around the area, especially over on the water, because the water, of course, was their main source of basically transportation and travel. And then with this one, what I found interesting is some people who have gone into it at night have actually, of course, like St. Augustine Lighthouse, you hear about footsteps. People say that there's footsteps walking all the way up. Some people say at this one, there is almost like the innkeeper or the lighthouse keeper is going up the stairs and he has his light and they can see the light slowly circling up to the top. That one also has I know most lighthouses have this one, but that one has a woman in white seen standing at the top, almost like she's contemplating jumping or not. And then before anyone can get to the top of the lighthouse, there's nobody standing there, and also nobody has jumped. So she manages to disappear as well. And then of course you have the innkeeper, the lighthouse keeper's home has known for the cabinets opening and closing, and then just strange how not hollers but like howls and hoots type of thing. Of course, people want to write that off as that's an entity trying to come into your home, but for me, I know for that one, because when I read the stories, it was like, well, that's the ocean howling just outside or the wind blowing through the lighthouse. And so there's some things that you can write off, but of course, you have to mention them because everybody thinks that that's the spooky part of the the lighthouse.
Debunk.
Yep.
Let's get loud then. Debunk.
Yeah.
I got the at the sunken garden is the alligator wrestler.
Yep.
It's in Paul. No, Strazula. Yeah, I got it. His name Paul.
Yeah, that place has a lot of interesting stories because they would do a lot of different types of shows with animals. And so people, when there's no animals around, claim that they hear bird calls. Of course, alligator sounds, but sound can travel. And even though these animals aren't right in the garden with them and they're in their little housing sleeping, I still think that might have some of that. But then some people have claim that they've seen, I don't really want to say a shadow figure, but it was like almost like a dark featureless type entity. But some people believe that is one of the former alligator keepers because he has the same body structure as one that they had that worked there for many years. So no confirmation on it, but all the different theories on what people are thinking could be haunting that place.
Yeah, it's about spotting darting shadow figures from the corners. That's right.
Yep.
Guys, check it down. Boy, I kept busy in Florida now. We're going to Texas soon, so. So I come visit in Texas.
Okay.
Where's you from Ohio? I got a lot of stuff here.
Yeah. It's been so, oh my God, I haven't been to Ohio in over 25 years.
Yeah. We're in Ohio for the Paracon?
No, I used to live in Illinois.
Okay.
So it was more of a drive through I think we stayed there one night while we were driving to New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I have to come visit you in Texas, and
Well, I do know there's a couple of conventions in Texas that I'm hopefully going to get involved in next year. So
yeah, there are tons in Texas. So
yeah.
I know one of them is run by Paratalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I belong to. I like Paratalk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that. So I'll try to watch as much as I can. Yeah. Usually it's been sick for the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Probably just cold.
Oh.
And it's a pain in the butt. I got it from a kid. I blame him.
Yep.
Yeah, I blame him. I think he brought home from work. Well, let me see here. Oh, man. What time is it? Well, it's
Yep.
5:20
8:20.
after. I think I'm good to go. I know it's still a while, but not anymore. And I have to walk fire book then, and you could talk a little after the show if you want. I want to talk about sending you some stuff.
Okay. Any of my upcoming stuff? Is that what you wanted?
Well, yeah, I want to send you some of my stuff.
Oh, some of your stuff?
Yeah, look at and listen to.
Oh yeah, definitely.
After the show, yeah.
Yeah.
I got some people that be, oh,
Yeah, definitely.
definitely.
I'm always up to reviewing stuff.
I'm definitely going to get to your parent book. I'll let you know what I think about that one. But good news on this one. I love it, and people have got to get this book.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
like I said, up in the corner, there is a what's it called UPC. There you go. Symbol. If you click on that, it'll take you to Amazon and you buy our book, or can they go to your website and get it?
Yeah, actually, I don't have it up on my website, but if they message me, I can get them a copy.
Can they get an autograph on them too?
Yeah, if they reach out to me directly, I'll autograph them. I have a whole bunch here that I can ship out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I got to get my website updated so it takes payments. Right now, it's on my website, but it doesn't do orders.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. Yeah, that can be a pain, but
yeah,
that's what could be probably the website I'm doing films, but there should be more. I have to work that. I think. So. I'm sure of that.
I know.
Yeah. Well. Alrighty. Well, Heather, it's been a blast having you on.
No, thank you so much.
My pleasure. And guess my tummy's growling, so I don't have anything to get. So.
Yeah, time for dinner.
So that's the first thing you say for me. So yeah, am I feeding? But okay, yeah, it was blast. My pleasure having you on, and like I said, I'll definitely have you on again after I'll read your book again, and I'm booked out to beginning of August and stuff, but I'll guess you on maybe sometime September I start the book, and after yourself in Texas. You know, I want to know how it goes. I'm sure it'll be a investor first. So I mean the temperature probably don't change much.
Right.
You know, traveling there. So I don't know if it's gonna be bothering that kind of winter storms and stuff. Actually, it did sound Florida this year, didn't it? For a little bit.
Yeah, Florida had a rough year.
Yeah, they had a rough year.
Yeah, we're supposed to have another rough one, so it's perfect timing getting out while I can.
Well, what was your temperature there today?
It was 95.
It was 92 here.
Yeah, I know.
All week must be higher. It's in the 90s. My gosh. The AC is going,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah. So, okay. I love how you know, Heather. I adore you. I'll really back on again.
Yeah, sounds good. Just let me know when.
Okay, sure thing.
Thank you. You have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Have a holiday, everybody.